Spawning in the right-hand corner of the map. Playing as ISIS. His name is Moscow. An absolute macro fiend. He loves a macro game. Nothing more than a macro game. This guy is just going to be like, give me all the macro. Let me play defense. Come at me. His opponent today will oblige him. He's playing against Tunison. Arguably the most aggressive Age Mythology player in the tournament. So we've got a clash of styles here. Now, I have seen Tunison playing standard. Tunison is one of those players that's got an incredibly powerful late game as well that I feel like everybody sort of forgets, so to speak. But it's really, really strong. Also see a bit of an interesting opening here from him as he drops the...
准备好了。是的。
准备好了。
Well, let me unpack this. We're seeing a bit of an interesting opening here from Tunison. He's gone for double farms. He actually did herd a singular deer underneath his town center, and he's left one Shenong farm alone here. As now the villagers will move back over onto food. I'm not going to pretend like I want to understand what's happening here. He could have jumped onto this olive tree. Would have been less walking time total. But anyways, I was just flabbergasted at what I was seeing there. Meanwhile, over on this side for Moscow, he's got himself his monument. He's got himself his temple. He's going for a pretty quick temple here. He's going to be advancing very, very quickly here. Not to toot my own horn, but I've come up with a new Egyptian build, which you can get yourself 3 minute 44 advance time with Flood of the Nile and a pickaxe and a monument, but a little bit more efficient than this one. I'm just kidding. But seriously, we're going to be seeing Anubis, Anubis coming through here for Moscow, and he is going to be getting himself that prosperity in, dropping the, grabbing the Flood of the Nile, and all the other good stuff. Houses as well, all over the place. Let's take a look at the relics. We've got the Chariot of Sibel here, which is going to be 2 gold lions. They respawn for free every 60 seconds. Up onto this side, there is the Nose of the Sphinx, which is hit points plus 15% of base there. Over onto this side, there is the Kudrum, which is increasing damage by 0.25% per 1% hit points lost. And finally, at the top of the map, Skulls of the Cercipes. Grants 6 monkeys that respawn for free every 120 seconds. Nonetheless, Chi Yao on the way now for our main man, Tunison. So no how to. He wants to play aggressive here, it looks like. And in the main base here of Moscow, Moscow says, I like this town center. It's not bad at all. He's got back hunt behind a forest. He's got a gold mine that's a tiny little hop, step, and a jump away from his town center. A couple of walls here. It's going to be really, really hard to lock Moscow off of that gold mine for Tunison. Now, Tunison's dropping a military camp. He wants to play aggressive. I told you this already. We've got a clash of styles here. He's leaving the Nose of the Sphinx. Who needs that? That doesn't help my aggression. Let me charge forward. Let me find something. A couple of gold lions in the center of the map will be causing some problems here as the Pioneers need to shoot and scoot backwards. And Tunison will be pulling himself aside here as the Yatza on the way. Town center is up. Pharaoh coming over here to grab the granary. And on the top here, Moscow dropping an armory. He will be sending 1 gold lion in, getting a little bit of scouting information. This is one of the most amazing usages of like gold lions here. Of course, you can use it to defend yourself, but getting scouting information in, seeing what's happening. He charges in with the Anubite as well. Waited perfectly for the opportunity to run through here. Spots the machine workshop, spots the military camp. Do we see any sort of reaction to this just yet? Villagers onto the wood. Could be looking for watchtowers here to just play defense. But so far, it looks like it might just be a 2TC. Never mind, a barracks going up. I was about to say, it could be a 2TC fast heroic as the Anubite just charging through here, gets greeted by a Pioneer, and will get pushed out.
And we
Kui drum here coming through for Moscow. Going to drop that into the temple and see what's going to happen. Barracks out for Moscow. Up onto the top side, picking off an obelisk as the Yahtzee will gallop. Do they gallop? Is that what they're doing? Stride? I don't know. They're coming into the main base here. A couple of priests are already in positions. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. And Tunison does respect that. Pulls back as now the units starting to make their way over onto this side. I'd actually like to see at this point, considering what Moscow's doing, grab yourself a Kwafu and just walk forward and drop buildings on this. You've also got to start looking over on these sides as well, because this is where things can get very, very tough. If you allow a Migdol stronghold up onto a gold mine, well, life gets tough. Now, you can't always just pull back and then charge in with a full army, as well as with lightning weapons and things like that. You can kind of break through it, but this is some spicy situation right now for Moscow. He is playing with fire. 2TC on Elysium. Walls now coming through. This is what I love this from Tunison. This is 100% the right thing to do. This takes me back. This takes me back to Legacy days. You remember, I don't know if anyone else was watching Age Mythology, competitive Age Mythology back in the day, but you would see like a Greek versus Egyptian matchup. 2TC, and the Greek player would send a villager over to the opponent's side of the map at like 6 minutes into the game and start walling it off if it was a 2TC situation. Of course, now there's like the Anubite running around, can kind of lock this off, but at this stage now, no real risk for Tunison. He's got full control, and he's going to be putting these walls up everywhere. Now, it will get spotted by Moscow, but Moscow's got no recourse to stop this. Though, with only one villager here, it's going to take a while to get these walls set up. And the most important position is probably this gold mine anyways. As the Yahtzee charge forward. Slingers. We'll be able to get a bit of return fire in as the Yahtzee going to say, no, get out, get back there, shoot. Let's lose one little fire archer there, but no problems. As more units slowly starting to come through. The villagers coming in as well. A military camp on the front here as this wall will end up finishing, maybe? He's only starting it now. A Scorpion Man can get sent over there immediately, take out that villager. Of course, the Yahtzee can get brought to his aid there, but this is scary because Moscow sees this. He's got this directly in vision. Spearmen to come around. The Yahtzee are there to defend. I like this very, very quick, smart defense. The Scorpion Man will not be making its way over onto this side just yet. This one little lone Spearman. Oh. Not paying attention as he's actually taking a fight over here. But the villager. Jesus, it's close. The villager manages to survive as units do get pushed back. Tunison's army is quite fearsome here. We are going to be seeing the Migdol stronghold attempting to get set up over onto this spot as the Sky Lanterns will come through. Where is the Pharaoh is the question. In the main base, he needs that Pharaoh immediately. Moscow, he's revealed. He's been revealed. The Sky Lanterns see the Migdol. Tunison taking just that little bit too long to react here as he's now starting to move across. Master of Weaponry coming through. Medium infantry on the way. Migdol 12 seconds from completion. This isn't necessarily this gold mine being secured by any stretch of the imagination, but it does make life very difficult here for Tunison to actually attack it. Meanwhile, more walls coming up. I love this on this top side at the very least. All Tunison needs to focus in onto is this one, this position only. I guess the other thing is there is no real rush here. You don't fall behind this military differential just because your opponent gets up a Migdol. You're going to be able to keep this military differential alive. Get up to 175 pop, click lightning weapons. It's perfectly fine, as we do have the Plague of Serpents and the Ancestors to come through. As lightning weapons is through, the Pioneers to be trying to take out these units here. The Scorpion Men going down as the Elephants to come through as well. Javelineers targeting down those slingers on the back, but Mosca, with the help of the God Powers, is able to push back, and Tunison's all-in Gold Starve attempt looks to have been shut down. And Mosca is well and truly now in control. Up on villages, up on military. Doesn't have any more God Powers left to use, apart from that Prosperous Seeds if he wants to. But now Tunison is in real trouble moving forward here. A couple of military camps coming up in the main base there for Tunison as well. Now Mosca, he can start looking for raids. He knows there's wood villages over here, so he can always send these guys through whenever he wants, because those early raids, you just get in here. We can check the berries out, but that wood line is probably the focal point. As we do see Tunison setting up the house wall nicely. And the only thing here for Tunison to really try is to continue to put pressure over onto this spot here. We do have a monument to the soldiers getting set up. The mining camp coming up over there. Villagers getting caught out ever so slightly. Here is this Baihu coming in with a couple of slaps. Not actually even able to pick up one villager there. Does he get? He gets one. He gets one. Camel riders charging through. Don't really manage to find a whole lot. As Mosca slowly making his way up to the left side of the map, expanding his control. Is there any time here for another Prosperity, an extra Migdol, something like that? There he goes, Migdol coming up, and this is kind of that part. If you're gonna go for these all-ins, you've got to lock off every gold mine you possibly can. You cannot be allowing this to happen. As the Chariot Archers shoot and scoot backwards beautifully. Baihu dives in onto that elephant as he gets gnawed down to a quarter HP. Javelineers really, really good versus these Chariot Archers at the moment here. Move on to this side. The Camel Riders will be pulled back. And Tunison's still trying to just break his way through this. Slingers in a fantastic spot here to take out these units. He charges forward though with them. That does run them straight into the pain of the Dow Swordsman and everything else. These units over here do manage to deal with a couple of those Camel Riders as well, but military differential still somewhat equal here, as Tunison needs to pull back yet again and try and figure this out. Mosca with 2 Migdols, lots and lots of units queued up here. Does he have all the armory upgrades? He does have some decent ones there as well, but he just wants to get every single unit out he possibly can in this game. Villagers getting pushed off of this gold mine as well, as Mosca's just continuing to jockey. He's just got such an overwhelming economic advantage that realistically he can just kind of sit on it a little bit. The Baihu dives forward, does finally get picked off. Chariot Archers shooting, scooting versus these unupgraded Wuzu Javelineers. You've got 19 range versus 16. So you can space very, very easily there without any upgrades. So we do have that medium coming through, but Tunison does say, well, looks like the game is done. And he gives up in this one. I mean, I liked the idea, except why not come in on this position and drop the buildings down here? Like, there's no point in a military camp here. Just, you've got it walled. Get this position here set up with towers or something, and then maybe you can actually prevent this gold mine from getting grabbed at all. And that could have been the way for Tunison to get some serious damage done and punish this second town center. Or alternatively, just wait. Like I said, like if we go back over into this post game, there's no real rush here. Military resource value, it was 3,300 to 1,700. If you continue along this path, this guy dies up to 3,000 from 2,000. You go up to 4,000, right? You come up to 4,000 here. Well, this guy goes up to 5,000. So he's not. I mean, of course, there's a differential of resources income as Moscow's in front, so you do have some sort of a timer, but that timer doesn't really start mattering until 11, 12 minutes into the game, maybe even later. When did the fight happen? 10 minutes. So you can wait a little bit longer on that attack, and then it's going to be a lot more pain. A little bit of jockeying on this position, poking, building up some units. Could have been a different situation, and potentially Moscow would have been in a lot of trouble. But nonetheless, a well-played game there from Moscow as he takes the first win. Let's jump back to the draft and see what they're going to pick for game number 2. We are going to be seeing a Ra versus Oranos game for game number 2. So that first win there does go to the Isis, game 2 with Ra, and the loss there for the Shenong, game 1, and game 2 Oranos. It's a really interesting pick here from Tunison. There's a lot of positions. There's a lot of problems here with this pick on this map. But there's a lot of potential for it as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we're actually already in the game. So these guys are zooming ahead of me. Let's jump into Giza and see how it's going to go. Here we go into game number 2 here. Tunison not able to make his aggression be felt in game 1. He goes in with an even more aggressive god. If the aggro doesn't work in the first game, why not try it again? He does decide to pick himself Oranos for game number 2. Moscow, he hears Giza and he's like, Giza's an amazing map here. An amazing map here for some Ra shenanigans. Well, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. There's no good gold mines here for Moscow. He might have to play a 1 town center game. But it's a double Rhino town center situation. So shifting sands onto this talent center and grab it as an idea, maybe go bast, make a whole bunch of Sphinx. Classical fight against Oranos can be really, really strong. Let's take a look at the relics. And no. Let's firstly pay attention to what Tunison's doing. As he says, 3-minute advance. Now, I want to just go out on a limb and say, a certain someone told me, I don't want to point any names, any fingers. A certain someone told me that 3-minute advances with Oranos, not very strong. it may or may not have been the player we're watching here. He was playing mind games on everyone in the Twitch chat. Tunison. Anyways, let's come back over here and take a look at the relics. We got Svadilfari's Sledge, which is going to be the fortress building's favor getting cost set to 0. Over on this one, there is the Archimedes' Ledger, which is siege population usage -1. Up onto the top side of the map, there is the Bow of Artemis. I love this relic for both sides of this matchup. And one relic has already been taken. Unless I missed it. There it is. And it is the Blue Crystal Shard, boosting up that economy of the Uranos even more. As you see military barracks coming down. And let me edify you potentially as to why a 3-minute advance time from Tunison here. The main reason is, let's stop the Ra going fast second town center. Let's force the Ra to play a 1 town center game. Also, let's not let the Ra play lots of monuments here. The Ra goes for early monuments. We're actually just going to drop a Carnivora down and actually take them out. There's some pretty nice anti-Ra ideas here from this 3-minute advance time from Tunison. But at this point, Moscow, I'm pretty sure Moscow knows what Tunison's like. He's ready. 4-minute advance time. No problems. What does this actually mean from a straight resource standpoint? It basically means that Moscow has a slight advantage. If this was two sort of vanilla civilizations like Zeus or Greek versus Egyptian here, and one player advanced 3 minutes, one player advanced 4 minutes, there's about a 4 villager differential there for an extra minute. So 4 times a minute for the resource count. So like 200 resources-ish differential or advantage for Moscow at this point. Now, of course, it's not that. This is it's sort of a different thing with the Uranos, but still. Spearman coming out. No Axeman just yet. Just still playing nice and defensive in the main base. I feel like Moscow wants a heroic age here. As Tunison, he is going to be opening up with 3 hero Murmillos and looking to make his presence felt somewhere on the map. House wall is up on the back there from Moscow. Look at how beautiful this base looks. Just take a moment to just appreciate the beauty of this base of Moscow. Currently on these berries here is the hero Mamillos to come forward. Not really any answers to these just yet, as the spearmen are going to be searching for oracles to take out. And villagers all do need to get pulled back and sent underneath the towns, and you can't really take a fight against these either because of the Caladria. Also, Tunison can sort of get very, very suicidal with the Mamillos so long as his micro is felt. As the spearman searching, villager over onto this side going to be trying to eat up this rhinoceros, but he does need to get some units in to deal with that. As we've actually got Hyperion pre-queued. A couple of extra barracks getting dropped down. There's no armory here, it looks like, for Tunison, so he doesn't really want to go to the next stage, but maybe he will. Whereas still, Moscow, he's playing a game of, I haven't dropped an armory. I'm not going to show that to you, but I can put it up at any point. He wants to get heroic age. He wants his Sobek in as soon as he possibly can. Over onto this side, Spearman versus Oracle shenanigans. One more jab. Oh, he just barely kills it. It's not the end of the world here for Tunison to lose an Oracle, but that hurts. Now, Bite of the Shark to come through. Armory coming up and a market. Obelisks going up all over the place as well. The hero Mamillos slowly making their way across the map here. 5.3 speed is a lot of speed, but there's not really a lot of places to attack here. Ideas of potentially like a shockwave on these villages, but Moscow is so quick there on that defense. You are not going to be catching him out here. The only issue right now for Moscow is the risk associated with trying to get onto this gold mine. If he walks over here too early, drops the Migdol, he can get a Carnivora and a Shockwave and a whole bunch of Murmillos charging forward. But Tunison says, no, it's gonna be heroic age and all the good stuff that's gonna be coming with this. Now Sobek on the way for Moscow. And the villagers will make their way over here. So Moscow is going to be good to go here. He survived all the early game problems. Hasn't taken a lick of damage here. And the Migdol stronghold is going to be coming up. Nonetheless, Hyperion is on the way, so there's still going to be something here for Tunison to do after this. And the fact of the matter is, just because Ra gets onto his second gold mine, and this isn't even the thing that Tunison is aiming to find the advantage in. Look, he's got 6 oracles out already. He wants a lot of myth unit. He wants a lot of god power usage for later on in this game. Now, what Tunison needs to do, well, Moscow needs to, excuse me. He needs to take out these oracles. Searching around with the Camel Rider, doing all this good stuff. He does over here and get that pacify off, but it's not really going to be enough as the Camel Rider does manage to get out of there. A couple more Camel Riders to come through as the Axemen are going to be sitting in there doing all the good stuff. Meanwhile, Betsukos coming through for Moscow, and we will be having a Weightless Mace on the way. As an answer for those Camel Riders, Weightless Mace catapulties are some of the best. One more barracks to come up, and Moscow still... So we're just playing defensive mode, trying to figure out what's going on, how to defend, and all the other good stuff. Wait, are these, he does have Sons of the Sun as well now, so these oracles are all heroized, but Camel Riders to sneak around and find them. This rock getting a little bit of information over here. It does get chased down there though by the Satyr, trying to pick it off. Still, both players playing very, very defensively as this double spearman coming back in. The Contarius in hot pursuit though. Get back here, he says. Give me some damage. Camel Riders do have an Oracle Hero in their sights, but Tunison quick to react there yet again, pulling that one back. Every little bit of damage here does matter. One Catapulti is not really enough to deal with these Camel Riders, but still, you can garrison into the manor. Not the end of the world. And look for any amount of defense as these Contarius are just going to be dodging around. He's got this Sky Passage over here to bring the Murmillo up onto this top side. Decides against going that route, but still a slow game. And like this is normally where you go, well, this is what the Ra player wants. The Ra player wants to sit back here, wants to play defense, but Sukos now's coming out. 2 more in queue. Contarius poke their head in there to get sent packing. Tunison's got to make sure that there is no sneaky Mythic Age coming through here, because Son of Osiris is going to be a very difficult unit to deal with. At the moment, it's literally equal on military. Villager differential for whatever reason. Tunison, whether intentionally or not. Now, when it comes down to Tunison, you never know if something is intentional. He's cut villager production completely here. I was about to say, why is the villager advantage in for Moscow? Well, I'll tell you the reason. It's because he stopped building them. He literally stopped building villages. Now this is a play. Like, you know how you have those sort of. Never mind. I'm not even going to bring it up. This is totally a play, but man, the amount of advantage you get from this, it's small, and it's a very tight timing to make this stuff work. You have to break through this position, kill the Migdol, have reinforcements coming through. Up onto the top side, does greet these camel riders over here. Wouldn't be a terrible idea to drop an initial chaos down onto, there you go, an initial chaos down onto these units just to make sure you take them all out. Because the game plan here from Tunison is, let me kill off as many units as I possibly can and spam chaos with max population army. He might even be waiting for this gold mine to expire, 175 pop, and just go for it. Osiris is pre-queued, but it's a long ways away. I genuinely can't. Surely this can't be on purpose. Sometimes players in tournament just forget to train villagers, but Contarius are going to be looking for raids. They can go into the main base, cause some problems there. Camel riders to come over here. You cannot be losing citizens in this position. He does manage to keep it alive. He can pop through this sky passage, come over onto that gold mine there if he wants, or just pop back out. Some catapulties will swing through the sky passage and look to defend here. Meanwhile, Mythic Age is moments from being able to get purchased here from Moscow. Moments. Over onto this side, Contarius versus Camel Rider. Is advantage Camel Rider, but there's so many Contarius there, it doesn't really matter. And Tunison, he's probably waiting for this next chaos for his big attack. But that's going to allow a half-complete Osiris in. Hero Catapult is going to be getting converted. He needs a lot of hero units to actually break through all of this. This is as spicy as it's ever going to be. Like, okay, let me put it into perspective. Every villager you build has an upfront cost, of course. And then it pays that self off, and then it's going to be income for the rest of the game until that villager dies or is idle or whatever. Tunison here, he's been idle on this town center for like 5+ minutes. 5 minutes. So, yeah, he's just going mass heroes now to try and break this with his chaos. His chaos is 15 seconds from completion. Villagers are making their way over onto this Migdol. The entirety of Tunison's game plan here is take this fight, take it now, win the game in this one foul swoop. Migdol stronghold getting dropped here. Locust onto this army on the back, onto everything, as the army here of Moscow getting annihilated, as he's already down to 2.5k resources. Shifting sands from Moscow to try and get out of there. Villagers will finish off the Migdol on the top side of the map. And Tunison's attack has ended up working. He spots the Pharaoh as well, and he's going to be able to take that out. So no Son of Osiris to help out on the defense as Moscow. He's got 2 Migdols up. The Carnivore are helping out, taking these buildings down. The units to surround this Migdol stronghold where there are 5 villages. The villagers on the top here coming through. There's going to be access to some mummy and things like that. But Tunison hits literally the best possible timing he can. He catches the Son of Osiris out. He takes out the entirety of the army. He's got to start training villagers now. Surely he starts the villager train. He's got 6.7k military resource value. The villagers diving into the Migdol stronghold. There's no production here for Moscow now. He can't realistically build out of this Migdol. He's got no gold in the bank. The camel riders coming through over to try and catch out the Satyr. There's no sign of Osiris for at least another like 30 seconds. I think it takes like 90 seconds to respawn. The Migdol stronghold will be falling, and Moscow taps out as Tunison shows off a spicy variation in the Uranos game plan. This is a throwback. I didn't bring it up, but it's a throwback to Legacy Uranos. I remember the player, More Champions Uranos. He would so often cut auto queue to get himself a military advantage and then just break through everything because you got that shockwave to just carry you through. You've got that carnivore, you've got that chaos to carry you through and win that most important fight. And in those situations, it doesn't matter if your opponent's got more villages if they don't have the units. Moscow makes a critical error here. How do you beat this? Well, the critical thing you need here is defensive structures. That's how you defend against these sort of villager cut ideas. Of course, Moscow doesn't know that Tunison's villager cutting, but in a way you do. If the score is close, you can kind of make some sort of an idea around it. Look at this differential on military score here. Of course, this is all in on the Mythic Age as well. If that 2,400 resources goes into Moscow's just making units, maybe the fight goes differently. Maybe just shifting sands away, push back after the chaos, heals everything up. Maybe he's totally fine and just wins the game. Can use those villagers with Skin of the Rhino as well to shank and hold on there. But nonetheless, we're tied at 1 apiece here. Let's jump back over to the draft and see what they're going to pick for game number 3. Next game is going to be on Anatolia. We've seen a lot of Anatolia. These players are enjoying it. Sure, it can get banned out. Now, this one's been ace-picked. Moscow really likes this map. And it's going to be a Hades versus... a Hades versus Gaia affair here. No ecograph there. It doesn't matter. What does the ecograph mean? Sorry. My man had 2 Migdols. That's true. He did have 2 Migdols, but is that really enough? I don't think so. Alrighty. We're going to be jumping into this next game momentarily here, guys. And the score differential is 1-1. Oh, we can also check this out. We'll check out little map stats here. Hades versus Gaia in this tournament. 0 wins for Gaia. Can Tunison figure this one out? That's the big question. Oops. Oh, click the wrong button. We're back to the screen. I clicked the wrong button. Nothing to do about it. It's a tough life. But yeah, we actually haven't seen Hades versus Gaia on this map in quite some time. I definitely don't think it's bad. Not by any stretch of the imagination. You've got ideas of going for Automaton here as the Gaia, or at least just going for the Leto angle into getting extra favor, to go into the Heroic Age and make yourself a whole bunch of Stymphalian birds, which are also really good, or Behemoth, which are also really good. In fact, Behemoth are one of those units that I'm still waiting for people to try and make a strategy around. But yet to see it. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. But let's jump in onto Anatolia here for game number 3. Tunis and Moscow tied at 1 apiece. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, into game number 3 in the top of the map. Currently winning a very after winning an incredibly aggressive game. I did tell you, we've got a clash of styles here. It is Tunison, and he is playing some Gaia. Over onto the left-hand corner of the map. Hades for Moscow. A stock standard. He is one of the resident Greek experts. Loves some Greek. Gets himself a dock up the... Oh. Oh, hello there, good sir. Is that a dead villager? Did I miss a villager kill? Oop, we also need to do a bit of a pause here, unfortunately. Did I? That is fixed, okay. Did I? Was it a villager? No, surely not. There's no way you lose... Can someone do the math quick for me? There's 9 villagers total out. Okay, so you start with 4. You start with 4, then the 18 seconds. It is? He killed a villager? There is literally 3 villagers walking up here now for Moscow. If he can circle around this... Oh, God. I think Moscow's on tilt. I think Moscow's on tilt here. Wait, can I look at the post game? I can't look at the post game. The Oracle does not spot these villagers coming in. At the very least, the dock is going to be getting finished. This does not get spotted by Tunison. We will see a dock coming up from Tunison as well. As this villager will venture up to the top side of the map. And the villagers will all make... God, that is such an expensive dock. Oh, dear. That is so expensive. Nonetheless, I mean, this is just mad advantages for Tunison to kick this game off with. Of course, Tunison did send citizens to both sides of the map to kick the game off. In search of villager shanking, obviously. But Moscow does have to... Let's take that nice breath. The villagers have sort of split themselves up here. Moscow, or we do obviously see that Tunison now sees the dock up, so he knows he has not quite got the advantage he would have liked. It's not fully converted, but nonetheless, dock in for Moscow now on this side. And we'll see what Moscow can do to bring this game back into some sort of equilibrium. I'll check if the Atlantean villagers got a kill. There you go. All right. P was TV. You are the smart man. Unless that was just from a goat, though. He could have just killed a goat. All right, let's check out the relics while we're waiting for these guys to sort everything else out. I don't think there's going to be anything else crazy happening. Chariot of Sibel over there is a very nice relic to help out in this map. We've got that Hecate's Torch, another amazing relic for this matchup for both sides. Grass Cutting Sword. S triple plus tier relic for the Gaia, and also super helpful for the Hades. And finally, Pandora's Box here. Man, there's some amazing relics on this map. Now the temple coming up for Moscow. Hand axe, pickaxe, and all the other good stuff in for Tunison. As he says, it's time to get some shenanigans going. And man, there's still not an advance here from Moscow. This is a 6-minute and 30-second advance. It's not the end of the world, but this is so late. How many docks has he got? He's got 4 docks total. He might need like he might really need an extra one here because you like if you're Tunis in here, you're just like, let me just get some dudes. I just go kill you. He's dropping a marker down, maybe looking for a very quick rear. Okay, an interesting development here. So not going to take any real advantage out of this super late advance from Moscow. But Ria is very big. I was talking about this before. The Behemoth, this unit is actually a really, really strong unit to include in your actual army. Of course, it's good at killing off buildings, but it sort of smacks hard. And it's costing food, which is obviously, on a map like Anatolia, a nice thing. As Athena just about to pop here for Moscow. Gets himself his free Minotaur. Do have ourselves a Siege Barim over here as well. Just looking to put some pressure. And up to the top here, the Tunison Servant. Poking his nose around, trying to get some little bits of damage done. And a market for Moscow. So who... Did Tunison sell yet? No. Generally, the person who puts the market up first and sells first gets the advantage here, but I guess there's no real rush to selling the food. Nonetheless, one Siege Marine here from Tunison going to be going down as Moscow is in a perfectly nice position to just defend everything, even though his docks are on the wrong side of the map. And Tunison is pulled back nicely, hanging back onto this position. Trying to figure out where to next. And Ria is on the way. Now, Ria does bring with it Ria's gift, which gives you a little bit of a favor back. And one angle here for Tunison. While I did suggest Behemoth, but you could just make yourself like straight up for Nareed and absolutely dominate one side of the water, because you're going to be able to one-hit Skylar coming out, one-hit anything, come in, use the special, then run away, heal up with the Caladria and things like that. Perfectly valid approach. There's also the trader for the Skylar as well. It's the fire ships now getting targeted down. We do have one Carnivora, Water Carnivora to come through. Let's do a lot of damage onto these ones. Thankfully speaking, you want to drop that onto the Juggernauts if you can. Because these guys got low hack armor, so the hack damage of the Water Carnivora is quite high. Nonetheless, Ria, moments away here. So we'll see exactly what the plan is with this much gold in the bank and that much favor income, though he's missing an oracle. He's missing quite a few oracles here if he was going to be going for that plan. He immediately drops a couple of barracks. Going to be making those Contarius out to raid the land. Move on to this side. It's the units to charge for. The Nareed here can heal up and all the other good stuff. This guy, like, we'll see. Once that special attack comes through, you'll see it does so much damage. 150 hack. Of course, it takes 3 seconds. But smack, big damage in. And like, do you just delete the Skylar? He's going to be getting himself the Argo here. And Moscow has... maybe he deleted it? No, he's got a garrison for the time being. With the Argo going to be in, Argonauts is coming through, so an answer for all these myth units on the way up onto the top side does Trader. One Skylar here away. There's another Skylar to come through. You do have a little bit of time to actually use this 162 seconds remaining. And Tunison will have to bail out on this spot as the Nareed coming in onto the top. Stay away from that Argo. Give that bottom side, or at least just play defense underneath your docks versus this bottom side. Let's get at least a special ability off onto the Moscow Skylar there before dying. And you can just take out this top side because there's no Argo to deal with your Nereids. So there's already 2 out onto this spot here. And Moscow in full retreat. Meanwhile, Contarius in full force rushing across the map. There's really not much in this main base here for Mosca. He's finishing up on this gold mine as well as the Zom forced out, catches out an Achilles there. Curse gets dropped down. That's a lot of pigs over for Mosca to eat later. But Tunison gets out of there. Defensive curse forced. That's nice. Up onto the top side. Not a whole lot of serious progress being made from Mosca just yet as he's losing everything on this top side. Meanwhile, already Atlas pre-queued here for Tunison. He doesn't want to forget it. He just says, let me just pre-queue that one so when we get there, we get there. A whole bunch of hoplites now queued up. As Tunison has some options here. He can sort of go, okay, you are... You know I'm making Contarius, so maybe we can switch away from them and make Mamillos. Military Academy. All starting to come through. So Contarius turning, looking for a little bit of a fight here. Not quite able to... Oh, does catch out the Ajax nicely. And he'll be pulling back for the time being. Up onto the top side there. Fishing ships going down left, right, and center. And this top water is claimed on the bottom side. Not really defending over here, but he's still getting as much food income as he possibly can. Over onto this side, though, the Behemoth gets caught out. The heroes in hot pursuit. As the Contarius need to get around to actually defend this one. In a way, you just sort of turn around and start utilizing this directional plating. If you face the heroes, they do half damage or something. Meanwhile, Palace in the center of the map. Tunison running away with this game, it looks like. Charging into the main base, trying to get some damage done. Mosca, Temple up over onto this side. You can sort of sack this left side, move over to the right. The gold mine and wood line there is perfectly fine. There's also still a restoration in hand for Mosca. As the hoplites come through. He's going to pull out of this position and see what he wants to do. And the Ajax will be falling as Mosca is. He is in a lot of trouble now. That being said, he's still got a gold mine. He's still okay. He can get himself up to full pop. Just because the Atlantean player has an advantage now does not mean that that means the game is won or lost from any sort of technical standpoint. And I guess the big advantage... Ooh, there's another trader comes through. The Skylar will end up going down, but the Argo getting targeted down by this Siege Bream. Does he win this fight? Surely he wins this fight. Maybe he doesn't. I don't even know. He's a strong boat, that's for sure. Meanwhile, Hoplites coming through. There is that Ria's gift to come through, and then Orichalcum Mail there for the cost of 0 favor is going to be really nice. But what else are you going to spend that favor on, Mr. Tunison, moving forward in this game? That's heavy infantry to come through. Actually, let's just take a look at this damage here. It's 13.3 hack damage per second. That's not nothing, but it's mostly just 700 HP with 50% reduced damage coming in. Ends up being 1400 HP if you're facing the unit that's attacking it. So that's a very tanky dude to be adding into your army. Now a second talent center coming up for Tunison to try and get his advantage that little bit more in check here. Over onto this backside. Contarius coming through. The Mamillos getting their damage done as restoration to come through. Heavy Murmillos is in. One Contarius. Is that going to be enough of a help here? Orichalcum Mail as well, just ignoring the restoration. Hoplites versus Murmillos generally favors the Murmillo. As more, look at that queue of Murmillos there. Mosca needs to get himself some Hypaspis out here. He's still taking this fight, and this fight is going heavily in the favor of this Bite of the Shark Orichalcum Mail Murmillo. Now Mosca has to pull back. He does have 74 favor. Another restoration is 79 seconds away. So he can wait that one out. Of course, this gold mine is expiring, so he doesn't really have the time to make this happen. And Tunison is laser focused on these gold mines.
Bullreg.
He's got line of sight here, here, here. All the gold mines seemingly on the top of the map there as well. There's not going to be any opportunities for sneaky maneuvers here. But a fairly respectable army out for Moscow now. The problem is, Implode is coming. Implode is coming, and Pain is on the way. 119 HP on her Paspist. Full Murmillos for Tunison. He could just heroize all these guys as well. Just for the sake of it. Another palace to come up as Tunison sees the Paspist and goes, all right, let's pull back. Let's get some mixed units in. A fortress is going to come up for Moscow. I've seen many times these types of kind of, not necessarily greedy. Tunison's well and truly in the advantage. There's not really any sort of timing that Moscow can push to get anything back here. But these sort of quick-ish Mythic Ages to grab a God Power and finish off their opponent. I've seen this backfire so many times in recent memory. One saving grace here. I've said this before, but one saving grace is restoration after the implode. It's not going to help those Toxotes, but it will help the Paspis. It will help the Hoplites. So the Hoplites are almost dead. So that's not going to be that big of an assistance. Now Moscow does see somewhat of an opportunity to take out a little bit. I can see the other problem here is that the villagers all on this gold mine with an implode on top of them. That's going to kill the villagers as well. As the army from Tunison says, it's time to go. Let me charge forward. Baiting, switching, implode, dropping down. The villagers need to bail on this one. Moscow's trying to keep as many of his units alive. The villagers pulling back. A couple of them do get sucked in. Their life will be over there. In fact, every unit gets sucked in. I think this might just be game over for Moscow. 205 pop versus 89. There is nothing remaining as the restoration comes in from Moscow as a bit of a last ditch effort. But man, Tunison is so far. He's got 3 towns and it's full pop. All the fish. Just complete dominating gameplay from Tunison in this one. And I mean, like, let's look at it. I missed it, but 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wasn't actually. Looks like the villager did die around about. So that's 18. When did it die? Oh, so at 36. There. Maybe? I don't know. I don't know what happened. Don't ask me questions. Let's not rewatch it. Let's jump back over to the draft and see what's going to happen for game number 4. Tunison is currently on match point now. He just needs one more win, and he does get to go over and meet Lamista in the finals. Alrighty, we are going in onto the map step now, and it's going to be a set versus Chronos game. Let the spiciness begin. One god still in the back pocket here for Moscow. Holding on to it for dear life is that ace-picked Skiomi. He does also have Zeus there if he wants it. But you have to imagine he's saving that Skiomi for whenever Kronos gets knocked off here. But Tunison, one win from moving on. It could be a quick one. We've seen it be quick before. Kronos can finish players off in less than 4 minutes, it seems. Less than 4 minutes. That being said, I think Set is perfectly fine with defending this, right? Like, come on. It's not an issue. So long as Moska's got his build down, he should be fine here. He should be fine. But we'll have to wait and see. Okay, so here's the other thing. Even if Moska gets behind from the get-go, there is an advantage for the late game for the Set. Set has a big advantage versus Kronos with Horus. So if he can just hold on, same thing with Ra, right? Like both of these gods are very similar. If you can just hold on for that late game, you will be able to find some wins with Horus. So there's that. But we are on a very aggressive map. It is Steppe. This is really nice for Set as well versus the Kronos, if you can actually make it happen. There's obviously the Lolito idea from the Kronos as well. Doesn't even have to rush. You just advance late, get yourself 6 oracles, make yourself a whole bunch of automatons, whole bunch of spider layers on your second gold mine, play defense. When the Egyptian player charges in, you're just going to say, happily run over all my spider layers, deal with all my automatons, and we'll see. There's also the hero citizen angle for fast theft of fire with a huge amount of boosted economy. Don't know how much I like that in this specific matchup unless the Set player is going to do something a little bit offbeat, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Game number 4. Tunison up 2-1. Moska, like he's still got some really, like he just has to play solidly here. Solid set, play defense, get past the Kronos problems. He's going to be okay. There is one tiny problem, but let's talk about it. In the game, onto the map, Steppe. Set versus Kronos. Let's check it out. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 4. In the right-hand corner of the map, playing as Kronos, it is Tunison. In the left-hand corner of the map, playing as Set, it is Moska. He's already throwing up his houses, looking to defend his gold mine, moving over onto the wood line here. He's got boars underneath his town center as well. Tunison, he is looking like he is going for a rush. Now, this could be bait. It doesn't have to be a rush. You can take this citizen off of gold, put it over onto wood, and just get all the overgather the gold, put the mana down, put the temple down later. There are some tricky ways to do this, but this is looking like the Kronos rush, just seeming to be a very popular way to play Kronos in this tournament. Temple coming through. Moska is going to have his work cut out for him. The question is, does Moska have a build order down? 344 is the timing you're looking for in this matchup, especially if you've got aggressive animals. This is a very, very simple build to get yourself a 344 advance, temple up, all that other good stuff. It's not a problem. We're not seeing Leto. Okay, this changes things completely. This is a very, very simple defense. Leto is the problem because what happens with Leto is he charges underneath your town center. Any damage that the town center does is just going to get repaired back off. And, well, you're going to have idle town center time. Like, idle villager time. A huge amount of it. The temple now getting shot up. Still having these animals of Set trying to shank down as the Oracle will be able to spot this temple here. There is the temple coming up. Do you ever... Okay. In seeing that, I think you just take all the villagers forward and just shank the temple. That's my take. This isn't that far away. Just move forward, shank the temple. He doesn't go for it. I'll say it again. All you need, as the houses coming down to defend, is 9 villagers on the temple before 10 seconds. And the temple will fall. Nonetheless, these Prometheans will cause a little bit of idle time. The priests, Pharaoh, to sit back here, can sit onto food. No real problems here. Gets little bits of damage done. This one monument in a very, very precarious position. Going to get targeted down. Losing that is not ideal. As the priest Pharaoh pulling back, we're going to start seeing a whole bunch of Terma to come through. There's plenty of villagers here happily grabbing the food underneath the main town center, so not really having any idle time on this one. Just a lack of gold, so to speak. As Moscow does manage to get to the next age now. It's a little bit on the late side, but he's still there. No problems. And the Promethean will be going down over here. Very, very quickly to this priest Pharaoh shenanigans. Now the Wadjet is out. A couple of extra units to come through. The villagers now coming over onto the gold mine here. Trying to hold off against all of this shenanigans. Healing everyone up. No real angle just yet for the barracks or anything like that. An extra priest wouldn't go astray. There's the wall. Trying to get shot back up here. He's got to pull that. Ooh, never mind. Healing is a perfectly valid angle here as the wall will get beaten down, though, as the villagers have to pull back. Still some good defense here from Moscow thus far. But still not any buildings up. A market coming up onto the back here. As the villagers still trying to just finish this wall off. The house over here is almost dead as well. One villager there does end up going down as Tunison, good focus fire there. Oracle getting targeted down there by the Wadjet, managing to take that one out. Another house goes down. Priest and Pharaoh need to be careful, need to keep getting that healing in. As villagers get pushed back yet again. And we see the barracks now coming up. Houses coming through as well. Villagers can get onto the chickens, no problems there. As the Wadjet, good control, man. Moscow is playing such a clean defense here thus far. Such a clean defense as the Terma making their way forward. 2 Terma do end up falling. There is access to potential shifting sands over onto this gold mine if Moscow wants to do that type of thing. Ooh, and the priests, Pharaohs, pulling back, still trying to keep everyone alive. Does manage to pick up another Promethean. Villagers getting caught out on this spot, pulling for the tower yet again. Jesus, the Pharaoh almost dead. Great healing from Moscow, but my God, is he close to falling? He needs to keep all of these units alive. The Terma numbers are still climbing here as Moscow just has not been able to make anything happen on the defense. He hasn't built a single unit just yet. Apart from the priests. The 2 priests is built. That's all he's managed to get out here. Nonetheless, the Slinger finally out as Pharaoh charges forward, picks off another hero Terma there. Villager differential 21 to 26, still close. Houses coming up all onto the bottom side of the map there as the Slinger numbers will slowly start coming in. Another counter barracks to come through as the Vision Does get dropped down into the main base, just checking what's happening. There's no town centers or anything happening behind this. Good control there from the slinger. Dodging left, right, and center. Promethean goes down. This Wadget is just getting so much value. Look at the damage he's done. Nearly 300 here. Conversely, over onto this side. The Terma numbers, they are getting limited nicely. But building slingers into this amount of Terma is very difficult to make it all work. But slowly but surely, it's looking like Moscow is going to be able to break out of the clutches here of Tunison. More houses over onto this side as, man, you would love to be able to just get like a watchtowers in, but then your opponent just kind of deconstruct. Maybe you could go for another tower on the front or something. Now double Wadgets are in. There's not really any answer for these Wadgets apart from Hero Terma, but they get targeted down by the slingers. As the trades thus far, they're just favoring Moscow. They are literally just favoring Moscow. Tunison does need to pull back and start reassessing. He's done a little bit of damage, but continuing to charge in here and trying to take out villagers or priests or units. He's losing so many units to charge in, and these priests are just sitting healing off all the damage that these Terma are doing. Picks off another Hero Terma there, and Tunison, he can't continue to do this. I guess the only real angle here is, well, gold mine expiring. Villagers are back onto this wall yet again, and now with no Prometheans, it's going to be a bit of a tricky angle there as the villager does manage to pull back, keeping itself alive. Moscow's defense impeccable. However, Hyperion behind this for Tunison. As Moscow has to know that something like that is going to be coming his way. Getting himself the leather frame shield, looking to move into a whole bunch of spears. Barriers coming up. There's only 3 oracles here for Tunison, which does make life very, very tricky here in terms of making those satyr, which you need to break through all of this. But at this point, these units, I mean, he's got, like, basically Moscow's got to be thinking about next gold mine. How is he going to secure that? He needs a whole bunch of priests to deal with the satyr. He's going to have to play around to chaos. He does have shifting sands for that, though. So not the end of the world. Over on this side, one lone spearman in search of oracles to slay. As the military barracks coming up. Heroic Age now in. Satyrs coming through to get some extra damage in. Turns around, gets those electron bullets to come through. You have to shifting sands this, right? No? A bit late on the reaction there from Moscow. He pulls back into his main base. We'll be able to heal off all that damage. And this gives time over to Tunison to some degree. Does shifting sands cancel chaos? It doesn't cancel it, but it gets your village, it gets your units to safety. And then if you got the priest, you can just heal off the damage. So it is a technical counter. Spearmen are going to be making their way out of the main base, looking for any raids. Hitting these villages on this position would be nice. On the gold mine would be nice. This gold mine here for Moscow has expired though. This makes life so very, very tricky for Moscow. He has to get out of his base. I mean, there's gold mines on the right side. He's pumping units. Like, full classical fight to break out of this position makes some sense. No chaos. No favor for the chaos, though. It's coming through. But if he does that, then there's not going to be any favor for the for the Satyrs, which is sort of the issue unit. The priests do manage to get some good damage done onto those Satyrs at the back. Nice try on the micro there from Tunison, but a little bit too slow. Hero, a Valor comes down onto the priest there as the priest charging forward. Going to be able to take out the next Satyr over here. A must-win fight at the moment for Mosca. It's looking like he's able to do so, as now he can make his way into the center of the map and secure the gold mine. Though a whole bunch of Mamillos do stand there waiting, watching. As the rest of these villagers will just say, give me this gold mine. Tunison, he wants to keep Mosca from getting to the heroic age. Heroic age means priests, extra range, able to deal with the Satyr even easier. At the moment, I still only 4 oracles in for Tunison. He's not able to get the value that he really wants here. Now, of course, another Chaos would be lovely, but no favor for that as well. Very, very difficult situation. As the obelisk comes through, Mosca's going to be looking to grab himself that survival equipment, keep the villagers in one piece. 42 villagers to 46. This has got to be thought of as somewhat of an advantage for the set, because he's got the cheaper units with the monument, making things cheaper, so it doesn't need as many resources. But I mean, especially this differential is so small, and the citizens are that much worse than a villager that it just does not. It's just advantage for Mosca. Meanwhile, Tunison has to back up. And he's going to be looking to put some heavy pressure onto this position as the villagers will pull back. There's plenty of units in here for Mosca, but I mean, the question here is, do you risk taking a fight, or do you just bring your villagers back, jump onto food, get heroic age, and call it a day? Hero Mamillo's now coming in for Tunison as he's looking for a big fat all-in on this position. Taking out the counter barracks is nice. There is an angle to move up to this gold mine as well, though there is an oracle over there. In fact, look at the oracle placement from Tunison. It's all on this top side, and Mosca just has not been able to get over there and check that out. All these heavy Murmillos, this is going to be a really tough fight, though there is a big population advantage here. The villagers to come through, trying to take out the Satyr on the back with those priests with very little range. They charge forward. Murmillos taking them down. This Satyr also pulling back. The Wadget's doing huge damage. Axeman numbers sort of small, but he's getting a whole bunch of them out here. Still 2 Satyr remaining. The Wadgets are a decent counter to them, but a misclick from Tunison as the priests are going to get that revenge damage in, and Tunison just cannot break through as he gets sent packing yet again in this game. Term is going down. Got to be careful not to overcommit there. Does pull back. No problems. Back onto the gold mine, spamming out units. I'd love to see even a 3rd monument now. The Wadgets have been so key in the defense for Mosca in this game that a handful more would just not go astray in the slide as villagers up to the top here to grab this ball. Walls already coming through for Mosca. The fundamentals, they never change. Doesn't matter if you're 2 town center, 1 town center, 5 town center, protect your villagers. Walls up. This ball here will be getting grabbed. Can move into the back corner as well. Eat those bears. There's an oracle there. That's going to get spotted. As now Tunison has got nothing. He feels like he's got nothing else he can do except for just try and poke. Get me in there. Another chaos as an idea at this stage? Maybe. Oh, military barracks time shifting in behind all this. This does get spotted by Mosca, but he has to be looking at the minimap to see that blue dot. One idea here from Mosca is from Tunison is to put the units into the military barracks, and then pop them out once he has a couple. So the top side, Moscow is searching for oracles and things to take out. Now, Nephthys finally on the way for Moscow. He doesn't want that Sekhmet. I don't blame him. Against Kronos, there's no real need to overcommit on the strength of the slinger. Nephthys gives yourself a little bit more survivability with the ancestors. Priests get a little bit of a boost with Nebti. Funeral rites to help yourself stay alive. Losing an army means a little bit of gold back for it all. Tunison heading back in. He's still got himself a little bit of favor to gain here. And Moscow, man, he is respecting this to the nth degree. 700 gold in the bank. No favor for another Shifting Sands. Villagers over on this top side. Does Tunison spot them? Yes, he does. He sees the villagers here. The villagers will pull off of this position, pull back home. All Moscow wants here is a heroic age and his upgrades. And then he can take this fight no problems. Axeman upgrades, Slinger upgrades, Spearman upgrades. He's also got that right side to sort of attempt to move across to. Heavy Axeman on the way. Man, what a careful, calculated decision from Moss. Can he sell some wood? Not really. He's going to come back into the gold mine as he upgrades to come through. Axeman, Spearman. There is enough gold here almost as Nepti does come through. I like that pickup. I actually think if you can grab funeral rites as well, take a look at this technology here. Grab funeral rites as well. 8 gold back per unit. That's huge. Of course, there will be a chaos in bank here to favor until that chaos is ready. But Moscow is trying to just charge here. Let's pick off that satyr. And that allows him... Oh, that's a siege works. That's not what I thought it was going to be. Of course, Tunison might have like a mythic age coming or something like that. So Moscow's got to be looking for pressure. I mean, with this amount of Mermilla, you can kind of put that idea out of your head. Second Townsend are now coming through for Tunison. But now Tunison is the one who is looking like he's getting gold starved. But 190 population, Kronos army. Is this going to be enough to break through here? The population differential is literally equal in terms of military as the Chaos comes onto that backside. Ancestors gets called down. Chaos now over as the fight to ensue. There's not really a whole bunch you can do in this one. It's just kind of get the units, get as many units as you possibly can attacking. The Mermillo trying to break through here. Those Axemen are so good as a counter, especially with that star upgrade. Population differential does seem to be favoring Moskik here. One extra bonus is he could start healing with those priests to keep everyone alive rather than using them to attack. But he survives that next chaos. Priest can get to work on the healing. Up on the top, there is a palace here, so the gold mine is secured. 2 TC for Tunis and Moscow will need to start be thinking about where to next. Chariot archers getting mixed in, siege towers as well. Now Moscow can look to take out the palace at the top here. He's going to roll forward with the siege tower to take out this military barracks. Over here, funeral rites is now coming through. This is the technology I was talking about. 8 gold per dead unit. It's just a huge amount of resources in your back pocket. And Moscow can rotate down to the bottom side of the map. Plenty of food over here. Siege Works does get harassed down, but leaves with 196 HP there just for a little bit. And where to next here for Tunison? He's not able to break through this army. What can he do? Barracks getting cleaned up. Horus. Tree queued for Moscow. I talked about this early. This Mythic Age is so good for set in this matchup. Horus is such a big boost in power to the Spearmen, to the Axemen. Also, Avengers don't go astray either. As all those barracks will end up falling.
N wedge.
And Moscow, yet again, just so safe. Now he has his second town center up. Another Migdol to secure this gold mine on the back. Looking for some raids onto the top gold mine there. Does manage to find it with a handful of spearmen. There's a bit of an engagement into the middle of the map. Super important to be microing these Arcus. You cannot leave them standing still versus slingers. Shoot, scoot, pull the slingers into the army so that you can actually attack them with everything else. But it's looking like Moscow's army overwhelming Tunison's on that spot. He's dropped down to 120 population. The Contarius numbers are going to start popping through, but Spearmen already coming in as a result, as a response. There's the elephant in the siege tower. Pushing forward, and this palace is not going to last long here if Moscow wants to keep this attack alive. He's now clicked up through Horus,
Boit.
which means Tornado to come through, which is even more pain coming Tunison's way.
UG.
The destroyers poking away, but siege towers do end up falling there, and Moscow, he can just take his time. Tornado to kill off this position, perfectly fine. Grab this town center, perfectly fine. One Contarius over here. Gonna slowly poke down a couple of villagers. You can turn and shank this. Does he micro? He does. Beautiful. That's Contarius. We'll have to pull back, but Tunison's idea here is if he can get over here and kill off these villagers, it's going to be huge. The wall, he's trying to put this up, but it's just not going to be working. 14 seconds remaining on the town center. 10 seconds remaining on the town center. Oh, this is going to be a bit of a massacre of villagers, but I think the town center is going to finish it. 2 seconds. 1 second. And the villagers will be able to garrison, but that's a lot of damage there. That's the type of damage which Tunison really needs. He's up to 100 villagers. He's behind on the advance time, but he will be able to get to implode now, which does help him out in a big way. The only problem is Moscow has 3 town centers. His Horus upgrades are pre-queued. He's got enough favor to get himself those Horus upgrades as well. And sure, you can kill off this army once over, but Funeral Rites is in. There is a Chaos. I'm going to drop that onto this army yet again. You could Shifting Sands away if he wants to, but not really any need to do so. You can just back up and then take the fight again. Siege Tower's coming through. A whole bunch more Spearmen in queue to barrel in onto this position. As there's the Tornado getting dropped onto the Toxo, onto the Arcus, but immediate pullback micro there. Population is plummeted for Tunison as this position will end up falling. The barracks don't yet have those unique upgrades to come through, those mythical upgrades from Horus to come through, but I'm sure they'll be soon to come in. And Tunison up onto the top, trying to get another palace there to hold on to everything. Arcus going down left, right, and center, and Moscow is going to be heading to the main base here momentarily. Over onto this side, Spearman poking down villagers underneath the town center. He doesn't have the upgrade just yet, but these guys go from 5.3 speed up to, I think it's like 5.5 or 5.7 speed or something. They are so speedy once this tech comes through. Take a look. Smack. 5.8, 5.75 speed, I believe, is the actual number. And into the main base, the Spearman Raids are just going to be cleaning house here. And even with an implode onto this spot, what do you care if you're Mosca here? He's at 80 villages. Economy gigantic. Implode onto this side. Just run. The palace at the very least does look like it's going to be surviving. Spearman over here cleaning up villages left, right, and center. A little bit of glimmer of hope as the population drops a tiny bit there for Moscow, but Tunison is still behind on population. The Spearmen managed to pull themselves out of here. As the upgrades are going to continue to come through, and Tunison in the 28th minute of this game does accept defeat. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a game 5 for our winners bracket semi-final number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, are you not entertained here? An incredible defense from Moscow. It's just been the story of this matchup for the entirety of it. Moscow on the defense, Tunison on the offense. Non-stop. One more game. For the privilege or the punishment, I don't know which one you want to call about. Which one you're going to call it, of playing the Mr. in the winners bracket finals. One last game. Let's jump in, see what they're going to pick, and see how it's going to go. Alrighty, it's going to be a Tsukiyomi versus Nuwa for our final game of this stream. A final matchup. Tsukiyomi versus Nuwa. Not meant to click that. Oopsie daisies. Finally clicked it correctly. Alrighty. Well, one last matchup. Nothing between these two players. Except for this final game, which will separate them, obviously. But they're both playing an incredible series. I think for the first time in this series, we've got a matchup which flips the script. We have a matchup that flips the script here. The Nuwa normally plays defensive here. Nuwa is normally the defender in this matchup. Will Tunison try and force it? There are a whole bunch of cheeses available. Like if it's a 1 gold mine Ghost Lake, Tunison is very well in his right to just go and mini Yeti cheese Moscow out of this finals. It exists. That's totally a thing. Anyways, let's take a little look-see at this matchup and see what it's actually looking like. We haven't seen a single game of Tsukiyomi versus Nuwa. Not a single game. We've seen plenty of Ghost Lake picks and bans and shenanigans, but not a single game of Tsukiyomi versus Nuwa. Well, that's the spice, ladies and gentlemen. There are 19 gods. That's 19 times 19 different matchups. I did the math for you guys, right? I did the math. 361 different matchups. Actually, that's not quite true because the mirror matchups don't repeat. 19 times 18 times 17 times 16 times 15 all the way down. That's the math. You guys can do the math. Anyways, let's jump into the last game here on the map, Ghost Lake. Let's check it out. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, one final game. Tunison has been taking it to Moscow non-stop in this game. Non-stop Tunison action. However, Moscow has been doing some non-stop Moscow defense. Two successful aggressive Tunisans, two successful defensive Moscas. For the final game, we have a Ghost Lake. With the amount of gold mines on this map to create an absolutely chaotic game. Tsukiyomi versus Noir, I've got no idea. Don't ask me, I don't know. Is Tunison going to be going for some sort of a cheese? Doesn't look like it. Does Moscow have to defend against some sort of cheese? Not really. He's got a really nice gold mine. He can put a wall over here and he's fine. There is also you have to worry about creation. A couple of wall segments to come down and then some towers to start popping up and killing all this stuff. I'm just kidding. That probably won't happen. One gold mine Ghost Lake does lean itself towards an aggressive game. However, gold mines on the bottom side of the map, on the top side of the map, over here, over here, over here, over here. There's so many. This leads itself towards really, really long games. I guess we'll have to wait and see what these guys are going to pick as the temple is coming up for Moscow on the front. Over here, we've got some relics to have a look at. We've got that bow of Artemis. Just going to be making the ranged soldiers cheaper. Huge relic for Moscow, actually, to start making those Yumi horse archers cheaper, which is going to be a big help for him in this matchup. Over here, we've got the Zhurang. Ooh. With Hal 2, this is a very, very disgustingly strong relic. Helps that earth wall stay alive for a lot longer. Up on the top side, there's the Tail Feathers of Heaven. Always nice to have those infantry units just hitting that little bit harder. And am I missing? I am. There's one final relic up on the top. Dwarven Horseshoes, which Noir is going to love. You obviously want to keep that away from the Tsukiyomi, but White Horse Cavalry, Noir has that 10% bonus HP, so she wants cavalry. Zhurang doesn't affect Earth Wall. It's a wall, though. Is it not a wall? It says wall.
什么?
I guess I'm grateful that it doesn't affect the Earth Wall, but is it really not? Hang on. When we see Earth Wall, I'm going to check the tag. I feel like never ever trust Twitch chat. Never trust Twitch chat. We have got the house coming down as the clay peasants come through. This will be a very quick Earth Wall on this spot to defend. I see that it's tagged as Earth Wall. No, it's got no tag of wall. It's called a building. It's not a wall at all. That could be a mistake, by the way. You never know. It could be a bug. This game is perfectly has 0 bugs. So we could have found one. We could have. It's possible. The devs are doing an amazing job. All right. Miko coming up, and we are going to be seeing Moscow. Very cool, calm, collectedly just saying, hey, you're going for the town center? Great, I'll go for a town center. I love playing town center. I love it. Clay peasants making their way forward. And yeah, we've got ourselves as boomy of a game as it's ever going to be. Couple of Arctic Wolves over here. Going to get involved. Nibbling. Right. But yeah, Town Center is going to be finished for Moscow really, really quick. But for whatever reason, Tunison didn't look to put any pressure onto this. If he has a handful of... If he doesn't go for that ridiculously fast Town Center and gets a couple of pioneers out, that forces a stable and at the very least a Naginata rider before you can go for the Town Center. Or you need a whole bunch of Miko to just heal off the pain coming for you there. Well, that could be exactly what Mosca's going. Mosca could be role-playing as his Poseidon. Just walk up here and take this town center. Is he going to do that? Surely not. Mosca is crazy. He did this versus Recon in one of his games against, I think specifically against the Noir. So a really quick, fast 3TC gets himself out of Naginata Rider anyways. He did build the stable before the town center, I think. As Husbandry to come through. Doesn't look like it's going to be a third town center. Meanwhile, Gormang on the way as this Naginata rider just popping in. A couple of Halberdier are through to say, hello there, sir. Please remove thyself from this position. Meanwhile, Hachiman is pretty cute here for Mosca, so he wants to get this one in pretty quickly. He's got himself up an armory coming through as the Cheongchi coming in, but the simple defense here is, you know, Miko in position, as well as Zhiragumo. Might not be a terrible idea to just get yourself a Bushi through, but nonetheless, the Tiger with the wings will simply just run away and then pull up and then doesn't even take any damage on that one. Nice play from Tunison. But I imagine both players here wanting to go to the heroic age. Like this idea for Tunison to just play into Cav seems like a really good idea. But Mosca does have Sashimono Bannerman. I'm not sure the interaction between Naginata Riders with Sashimono Bannerman versus Noir White Horse Cavalry with obviously the Gormang upgrade. What's it called? Hooves of the Wind. But walls, Tunison is, he is channeling his inner chemo. Chemo not participating in this tournament, but he is here in spirit. The chemo walls, they're looking like it. Naginata Riders to pull back. Hachiman is well and truly on the way here as the upgrades are going to come through. I think we're going to be seeing another new moon on the armory. Seems to be everyone's favorite usage right now. I still think it's pretty good on the temple, though. There aren't that many Miko out here for Mosca, so doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. If he goes for like 4 or 5 Miko before he advances or something, it makes some sense. But nonetheless, Xiangqi going to be pulling back. And we'll see where to next. Has a couple more houses to come up. The wall going to be coming up for Mosca as well. And there's also no real rush to drop New Moon onto the armory. There's like an angle here of, okay, if we're going to be playing a big boom and we're both going to be getting to the Mythic Age, we can just save New Moon, buy the bronze upgrades manually, then drop New Moon on the armory and also drop New Moon on the castle or on the town center as some very high value usages. Meanwhile, Shogun comes through. Shaft mine, all the other good stuff on the way as well. And a ballet is going to get shot up incredibly quickly here. I imagine... Well, actually, there's a lot of food in the bank here for Tunis. He might just be thinking fast mythic here. I wouldn't blame him for thinking this, because, I mean, the game is being played very, very slowly. Up onto this top side, though. The naked shinobi. You don't get to see these guys all too often. He is checking things out for the time being. There's the Tengu searching for some damage. There is this ballet up as the Mosca Tunison. The Mosca Tunison? The Mosca Tengu coming through, and the villagers will pull back. A dead villager, though, as one ends up falling. Just popping over onto this gold mine, though, for the time being, as Tunison needs as much of that gold as he possibly can. Yeah, Mosca's Tunison. My brain is stopped. Look, we're in the 7th hour of this stream. It's been a long stream, okay? Now we've got Hooves of the Wind to come through. As the White Horse Cavalry does get picked up, gets sent packing. Shotogumo getting that kill. Tengu going to be coming through. No upgrades, though. Just some naked Tengu to run around the map and cause some problems. As this one's around onto this side, you can dive over here and try and take out these villagers. They're in a really nice defensive position there, though. As Tunison under some pressure here. I'm going to get targeted down. These samurai do some real big damage. The units will be coming through. There is access to Swampland here. If he wants to drop that, he does drop the armory, or the new moon onto the armory here. As he catches these units on this spot, back over onto the ballet, trying to snipe down those villagers with the White Horse Cavalry. Is this too much of a commitment, though, from Mosca, is the big question. The Kwaofu hero does end up falling. More shinobi. Yumi horse archers to come through. And Tunison does need to give up on this spot. Mosca's going to be able to kill off the ballet, take out the forest protection. It's not the end of the world for Tunison. But Tunison does need to play a little bit of catch up here. Picking up another White Horse Cavalry. He does manage to survive 36 HP in a dream. It's the Tengu. Oh, hello. Just hanging out. It's like, what's going on, guys? Oh, I'm dead. All right, no worries. Nonetheless, Mosca now has to chase down these White Horse Cavalry. Well, the best way in, like, I mean, it's not really like Tunison's behind here, but the best way back into a game, the best way to further yourself in a game often is just kill off your opponent's villagers. If you're in equal position, 2 town centers versus 2 towns, get in, kill off the villagers. Don't lose any units to do so. But Mosca has got such a good defensive position that probably not that much of an issue. Another idea here for Tunison is to come forward and grab this town center and start locking off all of these gold mines, and then split the map split the map in half through the middle, rather than sideways, or something like that. Could dropping New Moon on the Mythic Temple be good? Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be making Onmuraki and you haven't made any Myth units yet, and you got a whole bunch of favor, then sure, why not? Full Iron's pretty valuable, though. You do get a lot of Bushido, though, for it. So that's a nice one. So the Naginata Riders getting caught out. Tunison erasing them there. Really nice catch on that is Mosca not paying attention. Of course, these are some very speedy White Horse Cavalry. They're at 6.9 speed. Tunison wandering into the center of the map. Shinobi, Yumi Horse Archer. This is not a winning fight for Mosca in the slightest here. I feel like he needs some Yati Spearmen here or something to deal with these White Horse Cavalry. They are going to be very, very strong. Does turn around, takes the fight. Javeliniers on the back can be amazing to take down the back there, as we do see a 100 favor costing Swampland getting dropped down. He has to use it though, because this is going to be a tough fight to be winning as the Shogun comes over, takes out that Tao Wu. Military differential at the end of this does end with Moscow managing to hold on and Tunison needing to pull back. So these Shinobi charging over here. One amazing usage of these Shinobi here is to just come in and take out houses, take out villages. They're so strong when you manually utilize the speed boost here. Basically is the villagers to come up looking for this town center, it looks like, or looking for these caribou. Over on this side, Tunison grabbing himself this town center. Onto the bottom side here. Moscow's Miko gets spotted. Even if you garrison, it's probably dead. Oh, she's stuck. I feel like she's going to die. I feel like she's dead. All right. Now, Moscow in the main base here. We'll have to deal with a whole bunch of White Horse Cavalry just charging in here and cleaning stuff. You see Watatsumi as the god of choice here for Moscow. That's a bit of a surprise. Normally we've been seeing Ukuninushi, but Watatsumi is going to be boosting up the Shinobi, boosting up the Yumi Horse Archer, and also getting himself Shinigami and some Onmyodo. So Onmyoji getting boosted up as well if he wants to go down that path. He's making now some Yati Spearmen, a couple more Horse Archers. Both players are going to be on 3 town centers as the Kwafu to make its way around here, drop the ballet, doing all the good stuff. But, I mean, the question is, how much is this damage really going to do? Because if you've got a mobile army like Tunison does, often these sorts of god powers aren't the best versus mobile armies. But we'll see if Moscow can actually make something happen with all of this as he's charging forward. Looking for some value, but he might want to just pull down and take out the town center down the bottom. Stay away from the earth wall. It's such an amazing defensive position. That being said, all of those Yati Spearmen on this fight sort of melding in. They do so much damage here. And Tunison's got to be careful with how he actually takes this fight. But now the Mythic Age just about to pop for Moscow. He's pulling back. The usage of this god power to come through. Hits on top of this army. Huge damage as it absolutely wipes out the Yumi. Not the Yumi, the White Horse Cavalry. They all get erased there. I don't even know how that... They must have just been running straight through the dragon. As the villagers popping back in and out of this position. A castle coming over here for Moscow as well. Breaking through this, another forest protection to come down as Tunison, he has to stay heroic age and try and rebuild to break back out of this problem that he's got. The 5 Miko pushing that favor up for another new moon onto the armory. That's going to be painful. There's still 25 favor needed. It's going to be about a minute away from full iron. Full iron. Meanwhile, Moscow's getting all of this gold secured. And where to next for Tunison? Another ballet coming up over here. Take a quick look at the upgrade situation. Not having that asymmetrical bows just yet. None of those upgrades to come through. It's pretty clear to me, I think Moscow's plan is to just get himself to 125 favor for another God Power cast. Watchtower comes through here for Moscow on the front. Shinigami helping out a ton. But like watchtowers, he's also got that upgrade. So these things are kind of hitting pretty hard. 25.6 pierce damage per second with that unique upgrade. Now taking the town center for himself. Charging forward to take out these buildings and all the other good stuff. Tunison has hit himself up to 190 population. So he's got enough stuff here to kind of hold himself and keep himself alive and push back. But the road ahead for Tunison is very, very long in this game. He's got a perfect unit composition, however, to deal with this as the new moon does come through, however. Full iron now in for Moscow. Full population. The Shinobi coming out perfectly. Lots and lots of resources in the bank for a whole bunch of Oyumi or maybe even Omyoji now. Also can make a whole bunch of archers in if he wants to. Can start a trade route, which he is going to be doing. Those deer caravan are coming through slowly. Now Moscow to get a castle up. As the Revenant Shinigami. This is the second tier. You have to get the technology as well to get that third tier of Shinigami through. Darth Sidious, yep, that's right. Seaside Infiltrators. We don't see that technology coming through all too often. I really like it. It gives your Shinobi invisibility. And you can use that to charge in and catch your opponent out with taking out a town center or something. Tunison now has managed to get up to the Mythic Age. He hasn't really been building any units though, so he's going to be getting gold starved, it looks like. He will have a god power to try and swing this one back in to break through here, but Moscow he's too good. He's got the castles coming up. He's got this position. Tunison says, GG, good sir. Too powerful for me on this day. And he's just not able to keep himself going here. I genuinely didn't expect that Watatsumi God Power to take out all of those heavy white horse cavalry, but I think Tunison ran directly into it. So if we take a quick look, I'll read it. I'll read the text. Watatsumi himself appears and circles around the origin of the typhoon for 4 seconds before flying off. Now this does 300 divine damage for 4 seconds. So it's a ton of divine damage on top of Watatsumi himself. Everything else doesn't do that much damage. So I think Tunison, in running off this way, he ran straight through Watatsumi, the dragon, and lost everything. So he had to actually split the army off into multiple different directions. I don't know where it actually spawns. It's just in circles, right? So you've got to move him one way, other way, and then you're going to be able to dodge a lot of that damage. Maybe that's all that happens. Maybe there's a specific way that he spawns. I don't know. But unfortunately for Tunison, not able to do it today. And Moscow, he will be moving on to face the Mister in the winners bracket finals. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy this tournament and you're enjoying all the games, make sure you hit the follow. Make sure you hit the subscribe. Make sure you do all the nice, good things and all the other stuff. Let's move over and talk a little bit about what's to come tomorrow.